Ladies and gentlemen, football season is here, and you know what that means. Fantasy leagues are kicking off. That's right, it's draft night here on the Yada Yada podcast, but we're not talking NFL players. No, sir, we're talking 7-on-7 dream teams made entirely of your favorite pop culture icons. Characters from movies, TV shows, books, comic books, you name it. They could be on our roster. So gear up, grab your imaginary playbook, and get ready for a totally unpredictable, fast-paced, hard-hitting fantasy football showdown. Here we are, episode 18.
I'm excited. Fantasy football. I'm not gonna lie. I like me some fantasy football.
Are you in a league this year?
I am in a league. I'm in a league with some coworkers, and $20 a pop, $20 per team. I'm not sure what. Sometimes I was in a league one time where like the winner got 80%, and then dead last got something.
Oh, okay.
And then like second place got their money back or something. But I don't know how we're gonna do this one. I'm not sure. So I hope the winner gets off because I'm planning on winning.
Yeah, I'm not in a league this year. I just I don't know. I didn't have a group of the guys in my family don't have one anymore, and so just didn't really have anybody to do a league with this time around.
I think I like it because I don't really have a team that I cheer for. You know, I follow the Cowboys. I think I've mentioned that before. I'm a follower, not a fan of the Cowboys.
Right.
But I don't cheer for them, but I also don't cheer for any other teams. So if I have players that I can cheer for, that gives me reasons to watch and investment into the game, and that makes it more fun to watch. So I guess that's kind of why I do it.
If I wouldn't have married into a family of Cowboy fanatics, then I probably would be in a similar position to yours. But as it is, I did marry into a family of Cowboy fanatics, and so we do look forward to Cowboy season every year. So This is a pretty fun time of the year for my family. It's good
for
stuff.
The first 10 weeks maybe.
Yeah. I mean,
maybe
playoffs are always terrible.
Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
Talking about playoffs?
We can't even sign our best player, and you're talking about playoffs?
Yeah, honestly. Oh, good old Jerry. But yeah, we're doing a little fantasy draft of our own today with some pop culture characters, with our favorite characters from movies. Not necessarily our favorite characters, but characters that we think would be pretty good on a football field. And so let me run through just some basic for all you people out there who are not familiar with 7-on-7 rules. I'm going to run through just some basics, and these are kind of modified. These are modified for our specific league. It's going to be 50 yards. The field is going to be 50 yards long. Okay, not including both end zones. We're going to have 7 people on each side of the ball. Right, 7 per side, offense and defense. You get 4 downs to reach midfield, and then 4 more to reach the end zone. All right, so you get 4 downs to reach 25-yard line, and then 4 more to get the rest of the 25 there. Touchdown, 6 points. You have a 1-point conversion. And we are doing tackling, so this is 7-on-7 tackle, because that's more fun. And then the rest of the rules are just basically standard football rules. So stuff, out of bounds, fumbles, interceptions, scoring, it's all going to work the same. The only big difference is the field's shortened to 50 yards, and there's only 7 people on each side. So there's not going to be like people on the line. Basically, there's going to be one guy on the line. It's going to be the center snapping the ball. And that center is eligible to go and receive once he snaps it. So that's a difference as well. Centers can receive, they can block as well and all that stuff. The quarterback can be rushed, and obviously the quarterback can also run with the ball as well. So all basic football rules, just those slight modifications, and also the fact that we're playing with fictional characters. Am
Sounds
I
good.
missing anything else before we hop into our draft?
No, I don't think so. Well, at the end, so just FYI, nobody commented on our last episode, so we don't know what's harder, pole vaulting or boxing. So it's just the
Good.
first person to comment wins because nobody else has commented. So if you comment pole vault, you're the automatic winner. Pole vault's the automatic winner.
There we go.
But I think it's maybe because they don't listen to the end. And so I'm going to tell you now, listeners, you are going to decide if my team or Books' team is the better team, is the winner. Okay, so listen,
That's
and
right.
then at the end, comment if you're on Spotify. And then if you're on Apple, send us an email, yadayadapods@gmail.com.
And this will be a relatively shorter episode, I presume, than our previous ones. So
You're welcome.
yeah, you're welcome,
Yeah,
everybody.
we don't have any. Well, there's a lot of current news out there, but we're gonna jump right into our topic, so that
That's
it
it.
is a little bit shorter. And the Cowboys are coming on here in a little bit, and we want to go watch the Cowboys. So let's get into it. What position do you want to start? So we got 7, obviously 7-on-7. So we got a quarterback, a running back. We got 3 receivers, a tight end or a flex position, and then a snapper /center /eligible receiver.
Right.
And then obviously on the defensive side of the field, you just have 7 defenders. We're not going position by position for defense. We're just gonna have 7 dudes out there.
Sounds good. And also for defense, we kind of, I mean, if you didn't do this, that's fine. But what we were kind of talking about before is having it like they all have to be from the same team or faction or family or group of people in whatever fictional setting they're from. Does that make sense? So yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
we'll get to that as we get there.
You can't have Superman and Captain America and
Right.
somebody else from a different league.
Exactly. And also exactly. And also we went ahead and vetoed any outrageously powerful people. So people like Superman, the Flash, even Thor and the Hulk, Spider-Man, people like that, because then it would just turn into a one-on-one match. If it was Flash on one team and Superman on the other team, nobody else would matter. So
Right.
we'll omit all the insanely powerful people, and then the power limits have been kind of capped at, no pun intended, Captain America, sort of. So that's like kind of the most powerful that we're getting is like superhuman. But like not outrageously more powerful than like just a peak human specimen. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
Yep.
so that's where we're going with all this.
And also one more thing, and then we'll get into it. No suits, no that give you suits are only for armor and what was the other thing, like strength or something?
Armor, strength, and maybe speed, but like no like gadgets or anything like that.
Like you
So
can't you can't wear his suit because that's OP and that's godlike basically.
Right. No flying, stuff like that. So
No flying.
staying grounded. We're using normal football rules. These people are just going to be insanely strong and fast and able to jump high.
And some other things that I'm going to trick you with.
And some other things.
And then also we both have an offensive and defensive coordinator. We are the head coach of this team.
Right.
And we have an offensive defensive coordinator that we will reveal also. So
there we go.
What position do you want to start with?
Let's just.
Oh, also it's a draft.
Yeah.
So if Books drafts a player, I can't draft that player, or vice versa.
Right. Okay. Let's get the big dog out of the way. Let's get the team captain out of the way. Let's do the quarterback.
Yeah,
you want to go first?
Agree. Yeah. Oh, I'll go first. Yeah. So I get a pick. We're snake drafting. So I get a pick, and then Books gets 2 picks, and then I get a pick. Books gets a pick, so on and so forth. Okay.
There we go.
Okay. So for quarterback, here's what I wrote down. All right. I said I need someone with leadership and determination more than skill and accuracy. My skill players and center person that snaps the ball, my center that's blocking, will make up for the lack of accuracy throwing the ball. Okay, so I need somebody who has grit and determination, somebody that can rally the troops, get their teammates motivated to perform at a high level, and then the rest will just fall into place because my skill players are going to be phenomenal. Okay, so I had 3 listed here. Okay, but obviously I'm only going to choose one. Okay, and I went with Mr. William Wallace from Braveheart.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's an out of the box choice.
Yeah.
There you
So
go.
lots of, by the way, Books told me about this idea about 4 hours ago. And so I had to come up with this team very quickly. But I spent my day chat GPTing and looking up different movies and I actually Googled like, okay, I need all movies from Sony. I need all movies from this company. I need all the MCU movies. I need all the characters from X-Men, all the, blah, blah, blah. And, just one thing led to another. And I came across Mr. William Wallace from Braveheart. And I thought that's exactly what I'm looking for as a team leader, somebody who can rally his troops and get them where they need to go. And that's what I landed on. So I've got William Wallace as my quarterback.
That is a pretty darn good pick.
Yeah.
And I applaud you for just picking
Knowing who William Wallace is?
First of all, yeah, I definitely applaud you for knowing who William Wallace is, and even seeing the movie Braveheart. I applaud you on that as well. But also, I applaud you for picking just a human with some grit and determination, because it would have been really easy to fill this list up with a bunch of OP people, and so that's a good pick.
Yeah, those OP people are coming later. So
yeah, all right,
get your hopes
that's
up.
fun. All right. Well, for my quarterback, I do not have William Wallace, so I didn't have to pivot on my pick here. But I have a man who's been discussed a few times on this podcast. He's just the ultimate leader. When you think about people in leadership positions in fictional settings, this is usually the guy that comes to mind. It's not a very out of the box choice. He's quite the field general. He's able to make smart reads under pressure. He's durable and he's accurate. And he's got a lot of skill throwing a specific object in very accurate places. And so I think that will translate great to the football field. And that is none other than Steve Rogers, Mr. Captain America himself. Like I said, and we can go back and forth on this, but we won't. But Steve Rogers is the leader of the Avengers, and so he's already in that quarterback position. He's comfortable. He's comfortable calling the shots. Yeah, you can at least admit that. He's comfortable calling the shots for his team. He basically can have great chemistry with just about anybody, even him and Tony. When it matters, they can lock in and have great chemistry together. They got some great fight scenes together where they're doing some cool stuff. And so I have Mr. Steve Rogers. He's Captain America. I mean, that's him. He's just that guy. He's the leader I want for my football team. So there we go. Predictable, you might say.
Predictable. Very predictable. It wouldn't be an episode of Yada Yada without Books fanboying over Captain America. And so that was not surprising. He was on my list. He was probably number 3 on my list.
Okay.
But yeah, I
quarterback.
For quarterback, yeah.
Gotcha. For my backup, I'll let everybody know out there. I had just in case you drafted Steve, I had Aragorn from Lord of the Rings slotted, ready to go. So he was I almost put him above there because anyway. But Steve Rogers is my guy. So
that Aragorn guy was popping up on all my searches. I've never seen Lord of the Rings. I know that's shocking.
Right.
But he was I know who he is, but I've never seen him enough to pick him. But he was popping up quite a bit on my searches.
He's the king.
Yeah, so Captain America, America's sport of football, and Captain America is going to be the captain of your team. That's pretty good right there.
Yeah.
My number 2, so I had William Wallace as number 1, and then Captain America was kind of 2, and then 2A, I had another human, and that was Maximus Decimus Meridius from Gladiator. So he was my
both solid picks, yeah.
Probably 2A, 2B, right there behind Mr. William Wallace. So all right, you've got Captain America as your starting quarterback. I've got William Wallace as my starting quarterback. Who's your next player and what position?
All right, so next up, I'm gonna have my first wide receiver coming in here, and this dude is maybe my favorite character in all of fiction. That's a bold statement, but it's probably true. And this person is Anakin Skywalker. I'm going with episode 3, Anakin Skywalker, where he's like in his prime Anakin version before he turns into Darth Vader. That makes sense. Spoiler alert, but it's been around for a while.
What?
But I'm going with episode 3, Anakin Skywalker. I mean, he's a Jedi first and foremost, so his reflexes are off the charts, right? He's absolutely fearless. He's very hot-headed, and I had that in mind when I drafted my team. So I kind of put him around people that weren't hot-headed because I'm thinking about chemistry as well. You know, you got to think about chemistry with your team. So, but yeah, I have Anakin Skywalker as one of my wide receivers. Also, his leaping ability. Again, he's a Jedi, and he's also like maxed out potential. So if I'm drafting a team and I'm thinking franchise players, he's probably one of the first guys I'm thinking of if we're capping off our power levels at where we did. So, so I got Anakin Skywalker at wide receiver.
Okay, yeah. Spoiler alert: I have no Jedis on my team. I know that's probably shocking.
I'll make up for it.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. I'm gonna beat you without any Jedis. How about that? My quarterback's a human with no steroids from the government, and I have no Jedis on my team, and I'm still gonna beat you. All right, so do I have to draft a wide receiver, or can I do any position?
Yeah, do whatever. Why not? This is yada yada.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna draft a running back here.
Okay.
Everybody knows what a running back is and what they need to do. My running back, I want fast, I want agile, I want chaotic. I want him to be able to dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge. So here's what I thought. Okay. Black Panther was my first pick. All right.
Okay.
It's not Black Panther. Okay. He was my first pick. For obvious reasons, he's able to absorb contact. He's quick, strong, all that stuff. Okay. But I dug deeper into the box and I went animated.
Hey.
Yeah. So I couldn't think of a better fit for my team at the running back position than the one and only Tasmanian Devil from Looney Tunes.
Oh, that is a good pick right there.
Yeah.
That is good stuff.
So I've got the Tasmanian Devil as my running back number 1. Good luck tackling that dude. Good luck. I mean, if you've ever seen Looney Tunes, this guy is unstoppable. He's just a wrecking ball of power and agility and speed. And I'm just telling you, I can't wait to figure out who your defense is because you better wish him luck with the Tasmanian Devil running at him. So I got William Wallace under center, and I've got the running back Tasmanian Devil right behind him.
Hand it off to Taz and let chaos ensue. That's pretty good stuff. This is, if nothing else, this is going to be the most entertaining game of football ever played. I wish someone would take this and animate it once we're done recording. That would be good stuff.
And like Tasmanian Devil, is he in Space Jam?
He is.
So he's already got some sports experience going. He's a dual sport athlete right there.
He does,
Tasmanian Devil.
Very true. Yeah, that's going to cause a lot of chaos on the field. That could throw off my defense. That's something that
especially when you see who my offensive coordinator is.
I was about to say that's something my defensive coordinator is going to have to work through. All right, cool. Okay, let's see here. What do I want to draft next? Let's go. I'm going to go ahead and draft my center.
Okay. Let's see who I've got written down for that. Okay.
All right. For my center, obviously, I need a big fella. Yeah. I need a big fella, and I need somebody that because this person will be able to go out and maybe catch some short passes. I need somebody that's also gonna be able to move. You know what I mean? To move his feet despite being ginormous, right?
Agile, one would say.
Agile. You know what I mean? I'm thinking like somebody like a Shaq. You know what I mean? That's what I'm thinking of right now. Big guy that can move his feet. Light on his feet despite being big. And guess what? This is back-to-back animated characters.
Ooh.
Because for my center, I drafted none other than Shrek himself.
The movie Shrek.
From the movie Shrek. I mean, he's an ogre, and ogres have layers, and so you're never going to see what kind of layers that he has on the football field because he's just a big guy, and he's quick. I don't know if you've seen Shrek, but he can run. He can run. He can jump. And he's gonna really gel the team as well. He's gonna have some great chemistry with everybody. Probably make everybody have a smile on their face. And so we're gonna need that when we're playing against people like the Tasmanian Devil and William Wallace. So I have Shrek as my center.
You know, I had Shrek as my number one center, so I'm gonna have to call an audible here. I draft my center. Yeah, that's a great pick. Like I said, that was my number one. He is very agile. He freaking takes out those Robin Hood Men in Tights dudes in the first Shrek, with his soon-to-be wife Princess Fiona. But he's obviously very strong. There are multiple times where he just lifts a donkey up and just carries him. And if you've ever seen a donkey, they're not light. And so, and he's tough. You got to have toughness when they're on the line like that. And Shrek is tough. He lives in a swamp. I mean, that's pretty tough right there. And chooses to. He doesn't want to go live in the palace where Princess Fiona's family lives. He wants to live in his swamp, raise his kids in the swamp. Yeah, so that's a great pick at center. Very suitable for the position. So yeah, I like that pick. I'm gonna go wide receiver this time. Okay, and I think I bent the rules a little bit to our no OP superheroes, no godlike superheroes. So veto this if you feel like it needs to be vetoed because I've got more picks. Okay. So here's what I thought for wide receiver. I don't have the best quarterback. Okay, and I said that when I was talking about my quarterback, William Wallace. I guess maybe he can throw a football. I don't know. I almost picked Uncle Rico for my quarterback.
I was about to say somebody. I guarantee you, we both thought of Uncle Rico for half a second.
He can throw football in the mountains, quarter mile. But yeah, so my wide receiver has to be able to catch. It has to be able to move, or they have to be able to reach places that the defense cannot reach. Okay, so they have to counteract the lack of skill from my quarterback. They have to be able to catch a bad pass, and so I landed on a superhero that does not need a suit in order to achieve what he can achieve, and that is Mr. Fantastic from Fantastic Four.
Thought I knew where you were going with that.
Yeah,
and
so
I did.
Do we need to veto that? Because
I don't. Here's my thing with Mr. Fantastic. I'm not sure if would his ability is he tackleable at all? Is my question, because if he's not able to be tackled, then I would say veto because that's
right. Okay,
but
so
if he is able to be tackled,
let's put a limit on
his stretchiness,
on how far he can stretch. Okay, like he can't just catch the ball and stretch his arm 50 yards and score a touchdown, right?
Can't Space Jam Michael Jordan it.
Yeah, and he can't like William Wallace can't throw the ball 50 feet in the air and him just stretch his arms up, or 50 yards in the air and stretch his arms up. So there's a limit. Whatever that limit is, 10 feet maybe, like standing. Well, I don't care, but there's a limit to how high.
How about this? Okay, yeah, no, that works. If we put a limit on it, I think that works. Maybe 10, 15 feet.
Yeah.
Let's say
if you jump like a NFL wide receiver right now can jump and touch the rim or dunk, like
right.
So he's got to be higher than that because this is a fictional thing.
Definitely. Yeah. So let's say 15, 20 feet. I'm thinking about the leaping abilities of my defensive players.
Yeah.
And so 15, 20 feet.
It's got to be somewhat
that'd be fine
fair.
with me.
Yeah. Okay. So I've got Mr. Fantastic as my wide receiver number one.
There you go.
For the reasons I said, he can reach places that possibly the defense can't reach. And my quarterback's not the most accurate thrower, and so he's going to have to be able to catch a bad pass every once in a while.
Nice. He's also a genius, so he's probably going to have
smart.
some pretty good IQ. Maybe some good field IQ out there. So that'll help. All right, let's see here. I've got my QB. I've got Steve as QB. I got Anakin as wide receiver, and I got Shrek as my center. Let's go ahead and I'll do another wide receiver. So again, I want really quick. I want really agile. I want really light on their feet. Okay, and maybe the character that describes those things the most, or that represents those things the most on my team is none other than Legolas. Do you know who Legolas is?
That was another name that popped up on a lot of my searches, but I don't know who that is.
Really? Okay, yeah. So for all you Lord of the Rings fans out there, you know exactly who I'm talking about. But Legolas he's an elf. All right. He is an elf from Lord of the Rings.
You've got an elf as a wide receiver?
Now, when you think of elf, you're probably thinking about elves from the movie Elf that don't look like Will Ferrell.
Yeah,
the
or
small
just
little
elves in
elves.
general, tiny little people.
No. So when Tolkien invented elves.
Oh, here we go.
Basically, the elves in Tolkien are better than human beings at everything. Does that make sense? So they're like, so Legolas, I mean, he's I don't know how tall he is, but he's played by Orlando Bloom. So he's, about 6 feet
I know
tall.
who you're talking about now.
Blonde hair. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. 20 years. Yeah, and so he weighs basically nothing, I think, canonically. They're super light, and he's able, like, he is able to take down this huge elephant just quickly. He's quite the acrobat, is what I'm trying to say. So he's got acrobatics on his side. He's got IQ on his side. He's quick. He's fast, and he's insane. He's the most coordinated person on the Fellowship, in my opinion. He's got in the Fellowship, which includes Gandalf, Aragorn, all these OP guys. I think
he's
Legolas
more coordinated than a 1,000-year-old wizard, and
Gandalf looks like an 1,000. Gandalf
hobbits.
looks like an old man, but he's much more agile than an old man. And Aragorn's basically Captain America level powers. But Legolas, just go watch a YouTube video of Legolas killing things.
I'll put that on my to-do list.
And you'll know. I'll send it to you.
Legolas killing things. All right. I'll type that right into YouTube, see what pops up.
There you go. But yeah, so I got Legolas. He's a stud. He's the biggest stud in Lord of the Rings, and so that's who I have for my second wide receiver.
Okay. That's a good pick, I guess. Like I said, I don't know who that is, but I do know who it is, but I don't know how good he is. I did want to say, actually, I'll wait because you haven't drafted your running back, but I kind of want to mention the other running backs I had other than Black Panther. Okay, I'll go. I'm gonna draft. I'll draft my center. I'll whip out my center.
Okay. Audible.
Yeah, and like I said, I had Shrek as my number one, for the reasons we stated. Now, once again, you can veto this if you think it needs to be vetoed. But this person does not need a suit to be what he is, and that is incredibly strong. Another animated character. He once bent a car door just by touching it. Just by slamming the car door, he bent it, and it wouldn't close. He doesn't need a cape. He is Mr. Incredible from The Incredibles.
Mr.
Veto
Incredible.
or no veto?
I don't think that's a veto.
I hate putting you on the spot like this, but I didn't want to tell you who all my characters were earlier through text, so... If you want to veto, I've got another one.
I understand. I'm thinking again about my defense, trying to tackle Mr. Incredible.
Listen, you're not tackling Tasmanian Devil. You're not reaching the heights of Mr. Fantastic. So it don't matter who your defense is. We're scoring points. Let me tell you, it's gonna be like a 6-man football game, 90-95 or something.
Very true. No, this is about who can score every time, basically.
Yeah. But if you want to veto, I do have a backup, so it's up to you.
No, let's keep it. It'll be fun.
Oh boy, not backing down from a challenge.
That's a fun pick.
Captain America is up for the challenge. His team is up for the challenge. That's what I'm talking about. Good for you.
There we go. Might have to sub in some of my offensive players for defense every once in a while.
Yeah,
but
good luck.
We'll be good.
Okay, so I've got so far I've got William Wallace as my quarterback. I've got the Tasmanian Devil from Looney Tunes as my running back. one of my wide receivers is Mr. Fantastic from Fantastic Four.
Mm-hmm.
And then my center, which I just drafted, is Mr. Incredible from The Incredibles.
Right. All right. So I'll go ahead and draft my running back.
Okay.
So for my running back, I was pretty with you. A lot less chaotic. This person is probably, well, when he fights, he's pretty chaotic. I'll say that. When he fights, he is hopping around the place, and he's hard to catch.
Ooh.
He's
Okay.
hopping. He's elusive. He is small, which will make him hard to tackle. He is force enhanced. He has superhuman agility and vision. He's got about 900 years of battle-hardened experience, and don't let that fool you. He's still quite
pretty
agile.
Huh? Okay.
Still agile after all those years. That person is none other than Yoda, Grandmaster Yoda. Good luck tackling Yoda.
That. Okay.
That's all I got to say.
Yeah. Okay. I can be okay with that. He does like to do some flips. I remember playing a little Star Wars games, and he was flipping around like crazy. So okay. And that's kind of Mr. Fantastic-ish too. Like, he's a genius as well, Yoda.
Very true.
So maybe he can team up with your offensive coordinator a little bit and come up with some stuff. That's an okay pick. I'm good with that.
All right, cool.
All right. So now that we're done with running backs, I wanted to say, even though I guess you could draft these two people with receivers now or tight end, but I wanted to say I also had Sonic the Hedgehog as a running back. So pretty fast, pretty chaotic.
That's true. Very fast.
That might have been vetoed.
Right.
And then I had good old Forrest Gump as well.
I'd love to see William Wallace hand off the football to Forrest Gump.
I know. Isn't that just like cinema at its peak right there? Braveheart to Forrest Gump, just handing the football.
That would have been good stuff.
Yeah. All right. So, I still have my tight end, and I still have two more wide receivers, and then my defense, my coordinators. Okay. I'm going to go another wide receiver here.
Okay.
And I've got 6 listed, and I'm still trying to pick which ones to pick. Well, really 5 now, because Mr. Fantastic was part of it. So I'm gonna go in the same realm as I did with Mr. Fantastic.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go animated again.
Okay.
And I'm gonna add a little team chemistry to my team. I've already got Mr. Incredible, so I'm gonna add Elastigirl from The Incredibles. Mr. Incredible's
wow,
wife.
That's quite the stretchy team you got.
Yeah, so we can cover some ground. I'm telling you, William Wallace is a horrible quarterback, so we're gonna need some good blocking from Mr. Incredible, or we're gonna be able to stretch around and catch a bad ball every once in a while. Yeah, so I've got Mr. Fantastic on the left side of the field, and I've got Elastigirl on the right side of the field, and we're gonna hope for the best. Those are my 2 wide receivers so far.
Those are pretty good picks, to be honest with you. That is that's a scary lineup, actually. That is quite a scary lineup.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm ready to hear whenever you're ready for your defense. I'm ready, because good luck, my friend. You gotta have a dang good defensive coordinator.
Oh boy, I might announce my defensive coordinator before my defense. Let's see. Have I
stolen any of yours yet? Like, you stole my Shrek, kind of, but have I stolen yours?
No, you have not yet. Nope. Right. Although you have mentioned one of mine, so you might still be on your list for another position. But I'm going to go ahead and draft this person, and that is my last wide receiver. So right now I have Steve Rogers as my QB, Anakin Legolas as receivers, Yoda as a running back, and Shrek as my center. So for this last receiver, you've already mentioned a lot of the reasons why he would be very impressive on the football field, and I agree with all of those. And I also think that his IQ is insane, and also he's going to have outstanding chemistry with my quarterback, which is vital for a QB receiver combo, and that is T'Challa, Black Panther. Yep. I mean, him and Cap, we've seen it in Infinity War. Their chemistry is pretty great, right? When they make that charge in front of the or when they charge on Thanos' army in Wakanda, and they're like the first ones out there,
Yep. Yep.
It's good stuff. And so they basically have the same exact power set. I mean, Black Panther doesn't need his suit to enhance him. And specifically, and we talked about this beforehand, but we're talking about the Black Panther suit from Civil War, just because the one from Infinity War is like the one where he can absorb all the energy, and then if somebody touches him, it explodes basically, and so they can't touch him. So that was a little OP for us, and so we're sticking with the T'Challa from Civil War, where he physically has to take off his helmet, as opposed to it being like nanotechnology or whatever it is. So yeah, I have T'Challa, Black Panther, as my final wide receiver. So my receiver core is Anakin Skywalker, Legolas, and Black Panther.
Okay.
There we go. We are hopping all over the place.
Yeah, they didn't. Black Panther and Captain America didn't start off. Didn't get off to a hot start, did they? I believe.
No, they.
I believe Black Panther was Team Iron Man in Civil War.
He was, but eventually everybody comes around to Team Cap, and so you just gotta wait long enough.
Yeah. Well, you'll be waiting a while for me to whip around there. Give me the man that sacrificed his life for the sake of humanity, please. Thank you. All right, so we're not going to get into it, even though we always get into it.
Right.
Okay, so good pick. I'm good with Black Panther. Like I said, I had him as one of my running backs. Not as a wide receiver, but that's a good.
And he kind of showcases a little running back ability too. I have him as a receiver, but in game, I think doesn't he catch the gauntlet once they're tossing around the gauntlet with the stones in it? He kind of catches it and has a little 10-yard run with it. Yeah, he tucks it. So
a little Heisman pose in there.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. I like the pick.
Yeah. All right. I've got one more wide receiver and a tight end on offense. Okay, I think I know who your tight end is, and so I think I'm gonna pick. Pick tight end. Okay. First of all, I had Mr. Incredible as another pick for tight end in case you picked him for center. I also had The Thing from Fantastic Four. I texted you earlier and said I've got like 3 movies that I'm pulling from for this game, and Fantastic Four was one of them. The Incredibles
get
obviously
all
was
the
another
stretchy
one.
people.
Yeah. Obviously the MCU is 37 different movies, so you can pick a lot there. But I did say I didn't have a Jedi, but I do have a Star Wars character. This character, I have no idea what he is. Actually, I think I do know what he is, but he's very hairy. He makes a funny noise, and he is none other than, he's really tall, really big, typical tight end responsibility, typical tight end, stereotypical, build, and he is none other than Chewbacca from Star Wars.
Chewbacca. That is a good pick.
Did I steal it from
you? That is
you?
a good pick. You didn't steal it from me.
See, that's who I thought you were going to pick, so.
I went back and forth.
That was still my number one, so.
And the reason I ended up not picking Chewbacca, because I did consider it. I went back and forth, and I had Anakin and Yoda, and I figured I should throw some variety in there,
Yeah, you didn't want to get too nerdy on us.
I didn't want to get too Star Wars sweaty on everybody. And so, but you know what? With your current lineup, and I'm going to move on to drafting my tight end right now. With your current lineup, I think I'm going to have to audible my tight end.
Ooh. Okay. I've got a lot of height.
You do. And again, I don't know who your defense is, so this might be unnecessary. To offset a lot of to give my team some height. Shrek's the tallest guy we got, and he's a big guy. But I'm going to go with a guy that's he's not quite as tall as Chewbacca, but if he stood straight up, he might be. Most of the time, he's pretty hunched over. But he's pretty quick. And to preface, my original pick for tight end was my only regular human, and that person was Ivan Drago from Rocky.
Yep.
You've seen that? Yeah, Rocky 4.
Yep.
And if I was drafting, he's a great pick regardless, I think. But I need somebody that's going to give me a little bit of an edge. Because right now I'm looking at my team and we got a lot of regular human type folk. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Not in the sense of not their powers, but just their makeup. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, whereas you got some stretchy peeps, and so I need somebody that's difficult to tackle, if that makes sense. And so I'm gonna pivot. This kind of goes against why I didn't choose Chewbacca, but I'm gonna pivot to another Star Wars character.
Oh,
it's one
really?
that you.
I was thinking somebody else. Okay.
No, it's one that you might not have. Yeah, you might be familiar with him. You might not, but the general Star Wars people will be, and that is General Grievous.
Okay. Remind me which one that is.
Do you know who General Grievous is? He is the ginormous droid-looking thing. He's got like white. He's like plated with like white bone-looking things.
Okay.
And he has a cough. I don't know. That's kind of his signature. Like he coughs. Right. Exactly.
Okay. Does he carry 2 lightsabers?
He carries 4. He's got 4 arms.
Lightsabers. Yeah. Okay. I know who you're talking
So
about.
and that's another reason I'm pivoting is because you got the stretchy guys, but my guy's got 4 arms, so he's not missing a patch.
Yep. That is an advantage. I will say.
And so I had to pivot a little bit on that one. I'm sorry, Ivan Drago. You almost made the cut, but I'm gonna go with General Grievous. Let me type that in.
I could argue that's a suit, but I won't. I won't argue that.
It's his skin. If he took that off, he would just be an organ. So
okay, yeah, that's true. That's true.
It'd just be a heart and eyeballs.
Okay. General Grievous as the tight end. Do droids have hearts?
He does because he's an organic. He used to be an organic thing, and then he had a hideous injury, and basically they had to replace him with droid parts. Okay, so he's kind of like Darth Vader in that sense.
Okay.
But again, it's not really a suit. It's more like that's just his limbs now.
Yeah. Okay.
He's a cyborg.
I'll let it slide.
Appreciate that.
Okay. So I've got one more wide receiver, and like I said, I've got 4 listed here. And I'm kind of surprised you didn't. I thought you were going with one of them for your tight end.
Okay.
Also, I could have gone a human for my tight end. I also had the Mountain from Game of Thrones, just the giant soldier dude that is just yacked. And so I didn't, but he's not going to be one of my wide receivers. Oh goodness, I've got 4 listed here. I'm gonna go process of elimination. Okay, I've got Hawkeye from MCU listed. Okay, his hand-eye coordination is phenomenal. Right, clearly, he
was one of my backup QBs actually because of that.
Okay, he started out as one of my QBs, and then obviously I went another direction, but
right.
So I'm gonna mark out Hawkeye. I'm gonna mark out Air Bud as well. I had Air Bud as a wide receiver. I'm gonna mark him out. Okay, my last 2. All right, and I'll make a decision. But my last 2 are Groot. I am Groot, and the opposite of what I've been going with my receivers. I'm going with speed with this pick, and that's Dash from The Incredibles.
Gotcha.
So Dash isn't. We can put a limit on his speed if we need to, kind of like we did with because we said no Flash, like we can't pick Flash,
right?
And Dash is obviously pretty quick, so we can put a limit on him if we need to. But I think I'm going all height with my wide receiver core, and I'm going with Groot from the MCU.
There you go. That's a good pick. You know, I kind of forgot about Groot. He would have been a good tight end pick as well. So that's
who I thought you were going with when you started talking.
Yeah,
but obviously you didn't.
I did not. That's good too because he also has a little bit of a. I mean, if we're allowing him to use his powers a little bit, he can kind of stretch. You know, with his limbs, and so that's a good pick. Those are good receiver. So let's go through your offense one more time, and then we'll announce our offensive coordinators. How about that?
Okay, so I've got William Wallace as the captain of my team under center as the quarterback.
Y'all's
I've
motto
got
is freedom.
Yep,
That's what y'all are going
absolutely.
to scream before you run out of the huddle.
Uh-huh.
Freedom on 3.
Faces painted and everything. So William Wallace is quarterback. I've got behind him in the backfield, I've got the Tasmanian Devil from Looney Tunes at running back. Going out to the wideouts and stretching the field, pun intended, I've got Mr. Fantastic from Fantastic Four. I've got Elastigirl from The Incredibles. And I've got Groot from Guardians of the Galaxy and the MCU Avengers movies. Then at tight end, I've got Chewbacca from Star Wars. And snapping the ball and blocking for Sir William Wallace, and possibly, if my offensive coordinator designs it, going out for a pass, I've got Mr. Incredible at center from The Incredibles.
There we go. All right. For my offense, for my QB, I've got Steve Rogers, a.k.a. Captain America. For my wide receivers, I've got the chosen one himself, Anakin Skywalker. I've got Legolas, and I've got T'Challa, a.k.a. Black Panther. At tight end, I've got General Grievous, the arch clanker himself. And at running back, I have Yoda, Grandmaster Yoda. And at center, I have Shrek. There we go. Now, who you got for your offensive coordinator?
All right.
Who's leading these people?
Yeah. So I went a little tricky with my offensive coordinator. I didn't necessarily a little bit of strategy behind it, but more trickery than strategy.
Okay.
I also think he's a good recruiter. Okay. So not that has anything to do with what we're doing, but if it was a college 7-on-7 fantasy football, he could recruit. So this is a character from one of my favorite movies of all time. And he always seems to win. And it's always looks like he's not going to win. And he ends up, you don't realize what he's doing. You're like, why are you doing that? I don't get it. Why are you calling this play? This is not going to work. And then it works in the end. And that is none other than Captain Jack Sparrow.
Captain Jack Sparrow.
Ooh, that's an off-the-cuff pick for an OC.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
So, ultimate trick play guy. You never know what's going to come. You know, he's not afraid to bend the rules either.
That's true.
So if he can get away, he's a pirate, so he's not afraid to bend the rules. And so I've got Captain Jack Sparrow calling my offense.
That is pretty solid. For my OC, I went more strategy. I'll say that. I did go more strategy. I wanted somebody that would be able to analyze a problem insanely quickly and solve it right in real time, right? But I also wanted somebody that wasn't afraid to do some unconventional plays, right? You said Captain Jack bends the rules a little bit. I think this guy's not afraid of that either, right? He's not afraid to be unconventional. And you know, I think he would maximize all of the chess pieces, if you will, of my offense because he's also pretty darn good at chess. And so I've got Mr. Sherlock Holmes as my offensive coordinator.
Okay. He was on my possibility for somewhere in the fantasy draft. I didn't have him as a skill player. I thought about maybe offensive or defensive coordinator, but that's a pretty good pick. Yeah, he's pretty smart. He can figure things out. He can read the defense and decide what play to call. So that's pretty good. I'm good with Sherlock Holmes.
Smart guy. He's also an athlete himself. Old Sherlock. He's a boxer. Did you know that? Canonically, he's a boxer. So he's got some competitive spirit in him as well.
Yeah,
so
right.
There we go.
All right. So there's our offensive coordinator and our offense in general, our offensive players. Once again, we're going to go into defense now. And just a reminder, our defense, everybody had to be from the same team or the same family, whatever it is, they have to be from the same realm. You couldn't just pick and choose random people from random things like we're doing for the offense. Our defense is a whole, has to be from the same community. So, do you want to do defense first and then defensive coordinator, or do you want to go defensive coordinator and then defense?
Yeah, we could do defense first and then DC. That's fine.
Okay, so my defense, I've got 2 on here, and I'll tell you the one I didn't pick first. I've got the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles first, okay, or as
Gotcha.
my number 2. I almost picked them. They defend, I believe it's New York City, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think they defend New York City. There's only 4.
Right.
And so that was the deterrent for me,
Mhm.
because I got to have 7 dudes on the field that can get the job done.
Right. Right.
And so I went ultimate human, like no superpower. It's kind of William Wallace-esque
Okay.
with my defense. Defense is all mentality. And you've got to have a dog mentality. You've got to have a I am miserable and I love it mentality. You've got to want to be out there. And although some of these brothers, pun intended in a second, although some of these brothers don't want to be out there, they still do whatever they can to protect the wall. And that is none other than the Brothers of the Night's Watch from Game of Thrones.
Nice pick.
Yep.
That's good stuff. Those guys are they're tough. they're
Yeah,
they're
so
they're some hardened soldiers for sure.
they defended the wall. In Game of Thrones, the wall stood for approximately 8,000 years. It was built by Sir Brandon the Builder. And obviously there was giants and things included, but it didn't fall until the Night King made it fall. And I almost made the Night King my offensive coordinator. I almost did, but I went with trickery instead of sheer power. But
yeah.
I'm telling you, these guys, they've got it brutal. They're trained in a brutal way. They're always freezing cold. They're miserable, and they do it. They get the job done anyway. And so I've got the Brothers of the Night's Watch trying to keep your guys from scoring the ball.
Man, that's a good pick. That is cool. Again, I applaud you for choosing regular old fellas that just have some grit and determination, like William Wallace. That's good stuff. And they have the courage to go up against all these superpowered offensive schemes. So that's a good pick. That's good stuff. I went with for my defense. They don't have superpowers either, but the catch is that they're not human. You could say they might have superpowers because they're super intelligent, so that could be part of it. So they're super intelligent. They're a group or you could say a colony, I guess. And they're a perfect unit. They've been through hell together, and they've come up and they've risen up and they've escaped slavery together. And so they have this strong bond. And for my defense, I am going with Caesar and his colony of smart apes from the Planet of the Apes trilogy.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Have you seen those movies?
I've seen, enough. I don't know
Enough
if
of
I've
it.
seen every single one of them all the way through, but
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know
yeah.
exactly, I know how good of a pick that is.
Right. Now, Caesar's, off topic a little bit, but Caesar's one of my favorite characters in the last, 20 years of movies. I think he's great. I probably left him off some kind of list we've already done, but I need to put him on whatever it was. But yeah, I did list like the names of the specific apes, but it really doesn't matter. You could pick Caesar with, I did specifically, and this is important because they are different species of apes.
Okay.
So like one of them, so he has, let's see, Caesar's a chimp, right? And so there are, let's see, 1, 2, 3 other chimps, 4 other chimps on here, okay? And the other 3 are, one's an orangutan, ones, and then the other two are silverback gorillas. So we got some big athletic things on my
Yeah.
defense. Some big athletic players.
That kind of goes back to episode 1. Who would win in a fight between one gorilla and 100 men?
Right.
Who would win in a fight between 7 apes and 7 fictional characters? Who would win a football game between 7 apes and 7 fictional characters?
We're coming full circle on
Yeah, it's
on
full
yada
circle
yada.
right here. Yeah, that's good. I was not expecting that. I didn't even think about Planet of the Apes, but that's genius.
Yeah, and there were a couple other ones. Like I considered Leonidas and his Spartans from 300.
Yeah.
That was one I thought about as well. I also considered Achilles and his Myrmidon, which are the people
I thought you'd have Achilles. I thought you'd have him, or Troy.
Yeah,
you know,
I had
thought
him.
You'd have him somewhere.
I had him as a receiver, but I ended up replacing him with Black Panther just because I think him and Anakin on the same team, it'd be like two hotheads on the same. It'd be like
Pretty
Kobe
hot,
Bryant.
yeah.
It'd be like Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan on the same team. Like,
Yeah.
what are you gonna do with that? You know?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. So
Yeah, that's a good pick. Caesar and his apes. And you even went to the lengths of naming all 7. So, I did not do that with the Brothers of the Night's Watch. I'm just picking the best ones.
yeah, that's fair.
Now, my defensive coordinator. Okay, the Brothers of the Night's Watch are kind of like Anakin and kind of like Achilles. Some of them they're criminals basically. They're people who have been sent there to defend the wall in lieu of being decapitated, basically.
Right. Yeah.
So they chose to defend this
It's their
wall.
only option. Yeah.
Correct. So they're basically in slavery, if you want to put it that way.
Mhm.
They get to live, they get food, but they have to do exactly what their leader says. And because of that, I had to choose a leader that they would listen to. And
Okay.
there's only one person that fits that description, and he is none other than Jon Snow, also from Game of Thrones.
There you go. I mean, that works out perfectly, huh?
Yeah.
That
He's, like I
old
said,
bastard.
they defended the wall for 8,000 years. And Jon Snow was basically the leader of those men for a time.
Mm-hmm.
He left the wall because he was destined for bigger and greater things than just defending the wall. Even though that's a pretty big deal in Game of Thrones, keeping the Night Walkers or the whatever they're called out.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, and he won them over. He won them over through empathy for old Samwell Tarly. He showed empathy towards him and he won them over, but then he also won them over through, listen, I'm empathetic for this, but I can also fight and I can also whip your butt if I need to. And so they gained respect from him. He earned their respect. And so I've got Jon Snow leading my defense, the Brothers of the Night's Watch.
Yeah, there you go. That makes perfect sense. That's good stuff. Makes me want to do a Game of Thrones rewatch, actually.
Ooh, can't go wrong there.
Yeah. Well, for my defensive coordinator, similar to my offensive coordinator, I wanted somebody that was a master strategist, right? But I also wanted somebody that, I mean, obviously they're my defensive coordinator, so I needed them to be experienced in the art of defense, right? This person is a general. He's wise. He might be other than Yoda. He's probably the wisest person on my whole team. And he's able to keep armies of people organized. He pulled off insane feats during the Clone Wars. Spoiler: this is a Star Wars character. He pulled off a lot of insane feats during the Clone Wars. Not only that, but this Jedi Master is the master of the defensive form of lightsaber combat. He's the best at it. And I won't get too sweaty, but if you watch his battles with Count Dooku makes sure he makes sure that Obi-Wan is always on the offensive because he knows that if he just goes at Obi-Wan and Obi-Wan's on defense, he's not going to win. And so this person is Obi-Wan. This is Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi. I might even go with old Ben Kenobi, the Alec Guinness form from Episode 4, just because he's an old man. I think Caesar will relate because at this point in Obi-Wan's life, Obi-Wan is the Jedi are no more. The Jedi have been wiped out of existence. Everyone that Obi-Wan's ever cared about is dead. And his only purpose in life is looking after Luke, which he kind of uses as his own colony. Like, this is my only purpose. I'm just here to watch over this kid. And I think Caesar can relate to that with certain points in his journey where Caesar's basically Moses. And so they go through, very similar journeys. He leads his people out of slavery, and then it all goes to crap again. And then, I think him and Obi-Wan are going to have a lot to talk about. And I think they're going to have a lot of wisdom to share. And I think Caesar's gonna respect Obi-Wan quite a bit, despite the fact that he is a human. And obviously Caesar's got a bit of a hang up with humans, but it's understandable. I think at the end of the day, Caesar understands who will understand who Obi-Wan is. And so I have Obi-Wan Kenobi as my defensive coordinator.
That's a good pick. I'm not super surprised by that. I wasn't sure which. I think I knew Obi-Wan, Luke, and Yoda were probably going to be on your team somewhere. I just didn't know where you were going to put them, or which form. I thought you might choose like Darth Vader.
Right.
I mean, I guess it's kind of the same, but also different. Yeah, not super surprising, but that doesn't mean it's not a good pick. You're right. He is super wise. Not quite Yoda, but he's up there. So, All right. Well, there you have it. I've got the Brothers of the Night's Watch, led by their leader, Mr. Jon Snow. And
there we go.
Books has Caesar and his apes.
That's right.
And he has Obi-Wan Kenobi leading them, the ultimate Jedi.
That's right.
Thank you for not getting too sweaty on us. Just
right.
Here's a side
I could
note.
have. Yeah.
I have no doubt. You have before, and it was dripping. It was that sweaty. Here's a side note. If you lose to somebody named Count Dooku, then you deserve to lose if that's the case, because that would be pitiful.
Obi-Wan's got some. He's got some. I'm glad Dooku's not on your team, because then it'd just be that'd be it. That would be it. Because
it would be
Dooku's Obi-Wan's kryptonite.
Yeah.
Everybody else he's fine with. Don't worry.
Yeah, right. All right, you have some special guest referees, right? We got 3.
I sure do.
You've got?
Yeah, and I
off real quick.
Yeah, I made sure to save them for the end because I wasn't sure if any of us were going to draft them.
Right.
Then again, 2 of them are OP. So,
okay. All right.
So and I specifically chose them to be OP because who's going to argue with a ref that's OP?
Yeah. Good luck.
I sure ain't. And so, the first referee we have for this insane match of football is none other than Optimus Prime, the leader of the Autobots. This guy, I mean, even if you hate the call, if Optimus says something in that voice, you're just going to be like, yes, sir.
Yep, you're right.
That's
I'm
it.
wrong.
Yep, that's it.
Absolutely. Yep.
Second up, I needed somebody that cared a lot about fairness, cared a lot about balance, and so I went with none other than Thanos.
There you go. Yeah, that's a good reference there.
Nobody's going to argue with Thanos either.
No. Well, I know one guy who could.
Well, that's okay.
And he sacrificed his life.
Well, all right. But yeah, so we got Thanos as a ref. We have Optimus Prime as a ref. And then I needed one more ref that actually knew something about football. And that maybe was a little funny because we're going to be on the sidelines too. And so we need somebody to joke around with every once in a while. And so I went with none other than Ted Lasso himself.
Ooh, yep.
Mr. Ted Lasso.
Yeah,
and so,
that's great. So early on in this discussion, we were supposed to just pick an assistant coach, right? Not an offensive coordinator and a defensive coordinator. And
right.
Ted Lasso was my assistant coach.
There you go.
So that's a great pick. I love me some
Yeah,
Ted
I thought you might have put him as like one of your offensive or defensive coordinators, and so that's why I was like, I'll save it for the last to announce the refs.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you have it. Okay, one more time. I'm going to read off my offense, and then Books, he can read off his offense and defense. I've got William Wallace from Braveheart at quarterback. I've got the Tasmanian Devil from Looney Tunes at running back. I've got Mr. Fantastic, Elastigirl, and Groot at wide receiver. I've got Chewbacca at tight end, and I've got Mr. Incredible at center/snapper/possible eligible receiver. And then I've got the Brothers of the Night's Watch from Game of Thrones as my defense, and my defensive coordinator is their leader, Mr. Jon Snow, and then my offensive coordinator is the trickster pirate himself, Captain Jack Sparrow.
That's good stuff. All right. For my team, I have Steve Rogers, a.k.a. Captain America, at quarterback. For my receivers, I have Anakin Skywalker, Legolas, and T'Challa, a.k.a. Black Panther. At tight end, I have General Grievous. At running back, I have Yoda. And at center, I have Shrek. Running my offense is, my offensive coordinator is Sherlock Holmes. Up next, for defense, I have Caesar and his genetically enhanced apes that are geniuses. And then they are being led by none other than Obi-Wan Kenobi as my defensive coordinator.
There you go. So, listeners, let us know who wins in a 7-on-7 football game.
Who win, and who? Let us know at least one reason why. Who's the difference maker? Don't just tell us who wins.
Factor?
Exactly. Yep.
What's
We want
the
to know.
determining factor? What's your prediction? Maybe by how much? Is it going to be a blowout? Is
Yeah.
one of our teams way better than the other one? Or is it going to be a close game? Will either of these defenses be able to stop the powerhouse of offense that we have come up with?
We got
because
dudes and apes
they're-
versus superheroes.
They're both pretty impressive. So yeah, let us know in the comments. If you're on Spotify, you can comment. If you're in Apple Podcasts, send us an email, yadayadapods@gmail.com, yadayadapods@gmail.com, or you can hit us up on social media. We do have a Facebook page, Yada Yada Pods as well. So you can find our content on that page as well. Other than that, I think the Cowboys just kicked off, and
There we go.
We're gonna go watch them.